Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Straub Sports Show. Big bro Ken here with little bro Drew. Little bro, what's happening?
I am anxiously awaiting 6 o'clock, as that will decide my mood for the rest of the week. And that's about it. That's really about it. That's been my entire week, basically.
No weather report today. Sunny but cold.
Weather does not matter.
Hey, we've got a Marzinski brother in early. Oh, and he's gone. I know you got to go. Go Guards. Appreciate you, Sean, for jumping in. Yes, Mama, your favorite guys are back. And absolutely, Dad, it's your favorite day of the week. Welcome in, everybody, here on the 216 Sports Network. Like I said, to the Straub Sports Show. Whether you're following us here on Facebook or you're one of our 5,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, make sure you're checking out the 216 Sports Network so you can find all of this. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, which will be back. Cavaliers are back. Cavaliers have some preseason. I watched last night. Yes, I was watching preseason Cavaliers. So make sure you check out the Jay Rich Show because that will be returning soon. The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee, always dropping episodes, Outside Interference, and the Straub Sports Show. Craig, you are my favorite Craig. My dad's not Craig, but that works. Straub Sports Show. You can find us everywhere on Twitter at Straub Sports, TikTok at the SBSS, Instagram at Straub Sports Show. That is blowing up with Rapids interview. More on that to come. And of course, Spotify, Straub Sports Show. I failed on the upload deadline, so I am fired, but we will get those up, I promise. Make sure you check out our friends of the show, starting with my guy Austin, Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Make sure you follow them on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021. If you follow us, you see their stuff shared all the time. And actually get your stuff at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. And not just our friends, but our employers. The Falls Rapids, I updated the graphic. Shout out to my guy Daniel. You already know he's rocking in the comments with the boys. The schedule is upon us, as you see there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it? 8 home games, 3 away games. We're gonna be rocking this. Remember, the Straub Sports Show are your official broadcast team of the Falls Rapids on the Instagram page, ours, Straub Sports Show, and the Falls Rapids Instagram page at Falls Rapids and their Facebook page. All kinds of interviews are out, but the quarterback series dropped this week. My interview with Monte Taylor is up. I will say this, of all the interviews that I've done, and everyone has been great so far, flat out. Everyone has been great, coaching staff and the players. The quarterbacks are going to take it up another level. I'm just going to let you know right now, the quarterback interviewers are going to take it up another level. All 3 of these guys were awesome. They gave great answers. I'm not going to spoil any of the other 2 because they haven't dropped yet. They'll be releasing soon. But Montes is out. Go definitely check that out. Shams is up. Go check that out. Drake's is up. Go check that out. I know I'm missing one. Oh, Deshaun's is up. Deshaun was great. Great to talk to. So was Shams. But like I said, yeah, check all of those out. Stay tuned. As you see, every day there's new content dropping with the Rapids, new content from us dropping, and you will see some new content with someone else in it this weekend because Little Bro will be joining me at tryouts and some signings and some practice on Saturday. We'll be doing some footage. We'll be getting some interviews, and me and Straub are going to do some mock practice play calls too as we get ready to do our first broadcasting gig. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out the Falls Rapids because you know they're rocking with us all the way. Spread the wave, baby. Spread the wave. Okay, that'll do it for that. Let's get rolling because we got to talk Guardians before the game actually kicks off. So let's get into our news and our notes first, bro. The first one is big, and the first one is NCAA related. Judge Claudia Wilkin granted preliminary approval to the terms of an industry-changing antitrust settlement Monday morning. The deal sees the NCAA agreeing to pay roughly $2.8 billion, with a B, dollars in damages to former and current athletes. The deal also eliminates the restrictions on schools directly paying their players, which has long been a cornerstone of the NCAA's amateurism rules. Can you tell I'm reading? If the settlement is finalized, starting next year, schools will be allowed to pay their players up to a certain limit. The cap is expected to start at slightly more than $20 million per school and increase on an annual basis. Rest in peace, amateurism. Rest in peace to the NCAA. Wow.
Yeah. Massive, just absolutely groundbreaking news here. But for everyone, I guess, sort of kind of throwing up in their arms and saying, well, here goes, more imbalance. I think this really balances things, if I'm being completely honest. So in terms of the settlement, I know billion is a lot of money, but you were seeing
that's for the former players. That's for the Reggie Bushes. And
this is what I'm saying here. The NCAA is really kind of getting off light here because there was going to be a lot of players going to court for a settlement here. And this kind of just sweeps that away and kind of gets you a number to kind of just spread it out evenly now. So now the NCAA doesn't have to worry about these long drawn out lawsuits or court cases. They can kind of get through with that. Secondly, that $20 million cap, I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you, these top schools are making a lot more than $20 million. So I like it. I do. I like this ruling a lot. And I think this is going to set a precedent for a lot of change that is going to be coming, even more so than we've already seen. But it also sets some limits and kind of reduces that change and sets some guidelines that I hopefully will be stuck to further on as we go into the next couple of years as everything continues to change.
That's very well said, first of all. I want to add this too. So before you also cry that, oh my goodness, Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State and Oregon are going to get all the recruits. One of the reasons I was okay with NIL, me and Lucky, was because there are a lot of rich people that have graduated from the University of Notre Dame. Okay. There's a lot of rich people who have graduated from schools like Vanderbilt, schools like Boston College, a lot of those schools out west where, a lot of these tech guys have graduated from. You also have old school money, like when you have Arkansas, who I love to bring up because that's Jerry Jones and the Tyson Chicken guy's son. Be careful. This isn't going to necessarily imbalance. Guys are always going to go to Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia and Notre Dame. They're always going to do that. And top recruits are always going to pick Oregon because there's a different Nike jersey every year. And the Nike facility over there is outstanding. There's always going to be that. But now, if I'm the Coors Light guy, and I own, that's what I just happened to see something Coors Light related and it came to my mind. But if I'm the Coors Light guy and I graduated from Arizona State, man, now I know I can invest my money, know where it's going, and actually be like, hey, no, that kid who's about to graduate from Arizona High and he's the best damn quarterback in the state. No, he's coming here. Because I'm giving you $5 million out of that 20 to pay for that kid. So,
and I told people, and I quote this a lot, is the paying the players is not going to be a difference from a guy going from a group of 5 school to a Power 5 school. It is going to be the difference between a guy going from an upper echelon Power 5 school to another upper echelon Power 5 school. And that's the only difference, because that is the only time you are going to see that significant amount of difference in a kid's mindset. And so I'm not worried about that.
The 2 kids from Colorado State that turned down the big NIL deals to play at Colorado State, they were going to do that no matter what. You weren't going to change their mind with a couple extra. There isn't enough zeros available in the NIL for you to have changed their mind. Yeah. Now you're also going to get a cap. So you can't have schools like in Arkansas for a year or another school. You can't have them now just spending unlimited amounts of NIL deals, because right now We don't even know how much these kids are making, and it's astronomical. Ask the kid from Ohio State, excuse me, the running back who came back because they gave him an NIL deal that was bigger than a first-round contract. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to take some of that away, which is it evens the playing field, whether you like it or not. Money doesn't, I know it ruins everything, but the sport's already ruined in that aspect. Now that you add money with caps, you even the playing field. In some other news, we'll switch away from the NCAA, but we'll stay in football. The New England Patriots are set to start rookie quarterback Drake May this weekend. Apparently he's ready. They held him off to start the season to kind of make sure that he was good to go. I think it was a smart choice. I mean, look at Jaden Daniels, yes, but then look at Bryce Young. This could go both ways when you just look, you know what I mean? Look, it's taken this long to get Caleb Williams comfortable. So maybe holding a guy off isn't the worst idea in the world. I don't expect great things from Drake May, but.
No, but I think this was less on him. And I think this was more, they didn't know what they were going to get from this team this year. And so now you see decent offense, pretty decent defense. You can put him in and he is going to be okay. It is not going to be a Bryce Young situation where he's thrown to the wolves with no targets, no offensive line, and he is just going to get slaughtered. They were worried about that. They wanted him to wait, see what the team looked like. This team looks competent and okay to play. So now they're like, okay, we can now see what he's got.
They also now know what play calls will get him in danger based on their blocking ability.
Yes.
What run plays have not worked at all this season so far. Things like that are now going to click. It was a smart decision. Same division, but let's move a team over. The New York Jets fired head coach Robert Saleh this week after a 2-3 start. They tabbed Jeff Ulbrich as interim head coach. Manchester United, take note. Robert Saleh was hired in 2021 and went 20-36 as a head coach. But that tenure was marred by injuries, especially the one last year to Aaron Rodgers. And he was also strapped with Zach Wilson as the guy when he got there. So, Drew, did Robert Saleh get a bad rap and an unfair shot, or was this the right move?
I think both can be right at the same time, if I'm being honest, because maybe he got fired too soon in any other scenario. When you have, that kind of unfortunate run. But I don't think, not just the Rodgers situation, but I don't think that front office was ever going to be able to really work with Saleh after all of this. And so I think it is probably in both the coach and the team's best interest to just part ways and start fresh, just because I just don't think that there was a right mesh here. He was loved by the players from what we've heard. He bolstered that defense up and really did well on that side of the ball. I think he'll land somewhere, maybe just as a defensive coordinator, if not a head coach at the end of the year. But I think in terms of the breakup, I think it was good for all parties.
For the sake of some fun, can I expose you a little bit?
Sure.
Would you like to tell the people what your asterisk response was when I put into the group chat that the Jets had fired Robert Saleh?
Oh, no. Aaron Rodgers fired Robert Saleh. This was obviously it was a joke, and obviously we don't know the full story, but you could just tell these guys did not have any chemistry whatsoever. There was butting heads consistently. And listen, when you pay a franchise quarterback that much money and you have a coach that has struggled in the previous seasons, you know which one you're going to go with, because there's one that has a massive contract still, and there's one that you don't know much about. And so
one's more easily replaceable too.
Exactly. So it's not surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. Obviously, Rodgers has gone on record and said that they had a great relationship and this was not on him, yada, yada. We're never going to know until someone says it outright, but, it is what it is.
I will say this, the one thing, and Rodgers handled it very great. He's handled it great now, and he's handled it great all year. The one thing that for me, I was like, oh no, this isn't working. That incident with him coming off the field and the kind of the push, in the heat of the moment, athletes sometimes can't control that. And the smart ones can back it up, lie about it, and move on. And Rodgers did. But that, to me, was clear. There wasn't respect there. There wasn't a good relationship. That's not Andy Reid and Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl, okay?
Right.
And I
It's
defended
different.
Kelce to the T there because I still don't believe that he was wrong, okay? Like, that's the heat of the moment. Two guys with a level of respect with each other and a comfortability to get close. I had a coach like that. I had an incident like that, okay, where I kind of like grabbed at my coach, like, what is going on behind me right now? Okay. And a bunch of people freaked out, and everybody else on the team was like, no, they're good. They're good to do that. Rodgers and him weren't good to do that. So the writing was on the wall. Hopefully this works because it effing better there in New York, or it's another wasted season. So we will see what happens there. Bro, let's give away some awards. Before we get sued in this segment doesn't exist anymore. Your John Fisher of the week, presented to you by Oscar the Grouch, who lives in a trash can. I will go first. To the lone voter who didn't give Caitlin Clark their first place Rookie of the Year vote, you are my John Fisher of the week. You made this stupid ass long-running race battle between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark fans continue. If Angel Reese had finished the season healthy, I truly believe this should have been a LeBron Melo rookie year, like pretty much split the votes. But Angel got hurt. She missed the last of the season. Caitlin Clark balled out, helped her team get in the playoffs after being literally the laughing stock of the league for multiple years. Shame on you for whoever did this. All votes should be made public. I'm tired of this. This isn't what we built coming out of the women's tournament. This was not what we built coming out of the draft and so forth. Angel Reese will be back and be a baller again next year, and so will Caitlin Clark. So to that voter, you are a clown. You are the John Fisher of the week.
Yeah, I agree. And I really hope this, like, you want to believe that athletes can kind of rise above all this, but it sometimes takes an effect on them. And it's so classless sometimes when you listen to some of these people say it, not even just the voting, but just when they go on a podcast or on air and are like, oh, she's actually not that good. I don't really believe it. It's like, do people not understand that their words kind of affect people? And it bothers them.
They don't care. They don't care. And I will say this, because then they made Angel Reese respond. And then she tweeted things out and she responded to it, of course, because then, of course, she's going to feel disrespected that she only got one vote. Okay. Had it at least been a unanimous vote, she can chalk it and go, hey, I got hurt. I lost all the votes when I got hurt. Once you do that, you make it an effing issue. So no, I agree with you 100%. Your turn.
All right. So this is a kind of a whole Straub Bro of the Week, John Fisher of the Week. And this is the entire coverage of the Royals and Yankees ALDS, because I understand that the Yankees are a big market team and the big market team, but my Lord, could you hide it a little bit? I have paid attention to every single series.
They've been so good.
Fantastic. We'll get into it. Fantastic.
Minus ours.
The Mets and the Phillies, fantastic series. Congrats to the Mets, but the Phillies gave it up. And even when the Phillies were losing or when they were winning, they got the same coverage. When the Dodgers and Padres, obviously two big rivals, they're going at it, getting the same coverage. Tigers and Guardians, same exact coverage. You can tell when the Yankees are winning and when the Yankees are losing just by, one, the amount of social media tweets that go out, because when the Royals are winning, you barely get any unless when the Royals finally won, they got the notification out there. But when the Yankees are winning, every single run that the Yankees score is broadcasted on 4 different social media platforms and Bleacher Report and ESPN. But not just the social media, it is blatantly obvious during the commentating of it. It was game 2. The Royals were up 4-1 in the 7th inning, and the Yankees had 2 men on with 1 out. And the Royals turn a double play, a crucial double play to keep them in the lead and keep their lead alive. And the announcers acted like this was soul crushing, like they were a part of the Yankees home announce crew. And it is so beyond infuriating when you have amazing games between a massive market and maybe a smaller market, and the small market starts to win, and you have people who are supposed to exorbitant this moment and show that these moments are massive, downplaying it and almost seeing like it's a bad thing that this is happening. It beyond infuriates me. So that whole coverage has been terrible, and that's why they're my Straub Bro of the week.
John Fisher of the week.
You're right.
We'll get you to fix that eventually. Look, even if we get sued, this segment will remain because it sometimes brings out the best of you. I'm not gonna lie. Because you just get impassioned. I agree. This is exactly what Cleveland fans complained about when we had Costas and we were playing the Yankees. So I understand. Yeah, I agree. As somebody who was watching all of these series, I have been completely invested in the Dodgers and Padres. I was completely invested in the Mets and Phillies. I'm obviously invested in our Guardians. And then I'm trying to find the Yankees and the Royals. They're there. They're on the same channels, but it's just not the same. You're absolutely right. When the Royals came out and won that first game, oh my, it was just silence. There was nothing. So, or I'm sorry, whichever game it was that they won. But yeah, I agree with you. All right, Straub Bro, let's get happy now. Your honorary Straub Bro of the week presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave, create your own, and become a Straub Bro of the week. I'm getting so good at that.
I feel gross. I have two again. It's so icky to do two. I hate it. But I can't leave. I have one that is like different every week, but I can't leave this man out. Ashton Jaunty.
Ashton Jaunty, watch.
Lord, he is killing it again. He only had 13 carries last week, but he had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's 14 yards per carry. He is finally, and I say this thankfully, he is finally getting the Heisman recognition he deserved. Because last week, ESPN put out a poll about who's your Heisman favorite. And Ashton Jaunty only had like 30%. I think someone else had 60% of the vote. And I went, what? Like, there's no one else that stood out. And Cam Ward wasn't the guy that had 60%. So it's not even someone who I thought would be another contender. It was somebody else. But this week, he had 70% of the vote when they put it back out there. He's finally getting the respect he deserves. And listen to this, 95 carries, 1,031 yards. He's leading all running backs by 260 yards. That's literally 2 games for most running backs. 10.9 yards per carry, which is first, and 16 total touchdowns, which is 12th in all players, including quarterbacks, and first in running backs by 4 touchdowns. I'm losing my voice, which is not a good thing for the beginning of the show, but Ashton Jaunty was my first Straub Bro of the week.
What we can do for you, and while you catch your breath, we can start a little segment at the beginning of college football every week where we just do our Ashton Jaunty or Jaunty watch. Okay, so you can
I'd appreciate that.
Stop feeling gross and only pick one Straub Bro of the week.
I appreciate that. My second one, as a kind of salute, is Rafael Nadal. He has retired at the age of 38. And listen, this man, after Federer was kind of, and not ending his career, but on the downturn of his dominance, came in and just swooped it right back up with Djokovic. He ranked number 1 in singles for 209 weeks. Finished at the year end number 1 5 times. Won 22 men's Grand Slam single titles, 14 French Open titles, 92 singles titles, 36 Masters titles, an Olympic gold medal, 63 of those on clay courts. And he's only one of 3 men to complete a career Golden Slam, which is all 4 major titles and the Olympics. His 81 consecutive wins on clay constitutes the longest single surface win streak in the Open era. Rafael Nadal is an absolute monster on the court. His battles with Djokovic was absolutely phenomenal and must-see TV in a sport that really doesn't have a lot of must-see TV moments. Just in the span of things, anymore. So, cheers to you, salute to you, amazing career, and hopefully you are successful in all your future endeavors because you are pretty good at the one you had for the past 20 years.
Dude, that was a great one. We did not grow up on tennis. Tennis was not big around us. Tennis isn't very big in this country. Those guys made tennis fun. Those guys made tennis worth watching. And even if you didn't watch them all, okay, you came back and you watched those finals when those guys were in it. But I will say this: no, Ray, he did not do it with a broken freaking neck. I will say that. That was great. I'm gonna keep it with the women. I'm staying with the females this week. Although I am assuming my voter was a woman. I have no idea of that. It could have been a man, probably. But my Straub bro of the week, Caitlin Clark, for winning Rookie of the Year. Much deserved. She went for 25 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and set all kinds of rookie first and broke all kinds of rookie records. And I have one more, as always. Another woman, though. USC sophomore star, Juju Watkins, has agreed to a multi-year contract extension with Nike that will give her one of the richest shoe endorsement deals in all of women's basketball. If you don't know who Juju Watkins is, you're a fool. She is a star. She is a monster. And I know I don't normally give praise to USC, but when women's college basketball, I don't care about teams. I know I got my girl. Don't worry about it. We'll be back. But Juju Watkins, an absolute beast. I love it. I'm not going to lie. The only part of my chauvinistic side that I haven't got fully rid of is I haven't been able to commit to a female shoe, like one of the women's signature shoes. But if one of these girls can ball and give me a good shoe, maybe I'll think about it. But we'll have to see. That'll do it for your Straw Bros of the week. Remember, presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave. Create your own. No, that is not Juju Smith-Schuster's sister. Or is that? No, Juju Watkins. Or no. Go away, Craig. You're screwing me up. All right. We got about 25 minutes before the game start. So let's get all our predictions wrong. It is time to guard the land.
So we have to.
Yeah, we do, buddy. Here's your graphic, updated as of 25 minutes ago. We only have one team advancing so far. The Mets took down Philly. So they move into the American League or the National League Championship Series. Dodgers and Padres are off today. So let's get to it. Because Rico just asked the question, how do the Guardians bounce back? The Guardians are down 2-1 in their series to Detroit. Game 4 is tonight in Detroit. The Guardians will be starting Tanner Bybee tonight. And then the Detroit will be running out another bullpen game. It's going to start with this right here. The Guardians offense has been absolutely anemic since the first inning of game 1. Okay. They scored 2 runs a couple innings later, and then they have been pretty much just blanked out since. Now, I understand they went against a Cy Young winner, okay? And I understand Detroit's bullpen game, based on our manager's moves, was set up completely for them. The problem is this team is not hitting in the clutch anymore. This team is like 2-18 or 19 now with runners in scoring position. There's no more clutch hits. Our best guys at getting those RBIs, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Yansky Noel, look like they are trying to hit every ball from Detroit back to Cleveland. And that's not how we play baseball, and that's not winning baseball. I can't even really say our pitching has been bad. We can't hit.
Been 6 runs in 3 games. That's nothing.
Right. You got to score runs.
I think the issue is, and I think you hit it, we're hitting the ball. We out-hit Detroit last game 6-5. We just had 8 runners left on base, and we can't get guys in. It is beyond frustrating that in the 3rd inning, I could already tell what game it was going to be, where we get guys on and we just couldn't get guys in. It was so frustrating to watch that year. Because you know what? Game 2, Scooball had the game of his life, pitched lights out. And
you're going to have
Class
that.
A,
he's supposed to.
Yeah, and then Class A has the worst game where he gave up 5 runs all year and then gives up 3. You know, it happens. But game 3 was the one where we had it for the taking. We had the guys on. We had the opportunity, and we just couldn't get guys in. I think that's the massive issue here is you have to get guys 1 through 9 when runners are on 2nd and 3rd to get at least a base hit, because that's the only way you're going to be able to win this game is by stringing along hits. You don't have guys who are going to go back to back to back on home runs. That's just not how we play. And so we'll see. Bobby's on the mound tonight. He's hot. He's been absolutely in fuego. And if we can get to this bullpen from Detroit, we should have a chance.
It's a tired bullpen now.
Yeah, I hate watching these games because if we win, we got to win another one. But if we lose, it's over. And so it's going to be stressful the entire game for me, for you, for everyone watching. Obviously, we could use a long ball or two, but we shouldn't have to rely on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the other thing I want to say about getting out coached. I'm not going to be critical of Stephen Vogt to the point of like, I want him fired or anything like that. This is his first playoff series, and he's coaching like it. He's getting out coached. He panicked and brought in Clase too early. He panicked in DH or pinch hit for who was it first? Was it Brennan that he pinch hit first?
It was Manzardo.
Man, okay. He panicked pinch hitting for Manzardo that early. Let the kid have another opportunity. I think he blew it with throwing Fry in, who's not been hitting well. So no, I don't think it is. I do want to introduce the comment from the greatest logo creator of all time. What up, Cass, for being in there? Our logo creator. But yeah, it's going to take. This offense has to get rolling in some fashion. If they get the same quality pitching that they have gotten for the first 3 games, but they get some hits, they're going to win this game and win the series. If they continue to hit like this, it's going to be a very disappointing show next week because that's not the graphic that will be moving on. And we love you too, honey.
Yeah, so there's not a lot to say because it's not like there's a variety of issues and it looks like we're, not good enough and this team's just so much better than us. No, we are better than this team. We just cannot get guys to home plate. That's the only thing that we need to do because pitching's there, starting hitting is there, fielding is fine. Quan made one of the best plays I've ever seen. I'm not going to say if it was a catch or not, but even getting to that ball was insane. Noel's had a cannon of an arm in right field, stopping guys to a single. It's just the clutch hitting. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And if you can turn that around, even this series, but onward, I feel like we have a chance against any of these teams.
I agree. I will say this, though. The problem we're running into is this Detroit team is like 33 and like 14 or some crap. All right. In their last whatever stretch of baseball. Okay. Behind the Mets, they've been one of the best, hottest teams in baseball. Once they get rolling game by game, they get that momentum and they get that feeling. You have got to go out early tonight and get some runs because if you start getting late and you start letting that crowd believe it can still happen, that's when you're going to do it. And I didn't see his comment, but bam, need something early to quiet that crowd, like I just said. Enrico, you may want to hold off. Not that we're going to just be homers. We'll move around the rest of the Major League playoffs. That Yankees and Kansas City series continues tonight. That'll be a fun one. And then obviously, like I said, the Dodgers and Phillies have the night off. Or Dodgers and Padres have the night off. They'll kick off their Game 5 tomorrow to see who goes on and plays the Mets.
Yeah, Mets, man.
Mets. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Okay. Francisco Lindor, who is having another amazing playoff run. Okay. I saw this tweet and it did kind of make sense. Man, what it would be nice to have him carrying our offense while some of these guys are missing. We could have paid him that money. Just saying. Just saying.
We wouldn't have the guys we have right now if
I understand. I understand. All right, let's talk some football, Drew.
Let's do that.
NFL Week 5. We had some good games. We're going to talk about your Brownies at the end. So we'll just run.
Should we?
Yeah, we are going to. We're just going to run through their score and then we will come back. Bam. Thursday night got us kicked off with a pretty good game, actually. Falcons beat the Buccaneers 36-30 in overtime. Then we move over to Sunday in our London games as well. The Vikings beat the Jets 23-17, leading to Robert Saleh's dismissal. In London, the Bears took down the Panthers 36-10. Oh, Drew, you're going in my order. I love you so much. Well, nope, actually not. Only for a couple games. The Ravens took down the Bengals in a really good AFC North game, 41-38. Dolphins took down the Patriots. Commanders, as you see, took and beat up the Brownies. Jaguars pulled off a late win against the Colts. Texans outlast the Bills in one of the worst goal line offensive series I've ever seen in my life. To lose that game. Stop blaming it on Josh Allen. Blame it on the coaches as well. The Broncos, Bo Nix rolling, took care of the Raiders 34-18. Cardinals upset the 49ers 24-23 on a late interception. Packers over the Rams. The Giants over the Seahawks. And on Sunday night, after a 4-hour rainstorm, 2:30 in the morning, my Cowboys, with a last-second touchdown, took care of the Steelers 20-17. And as you see, your 4-bye teams this week, Philly, Tennessee, the Chargers, and the Lions. So before we get to your Brownies,
Thank you.
Most exciting result of the weekend besides my Cowboys?
Honestly, I was pretty not surprised, but I was worried for you going into that fourth quarter, and you finally stepped it up.
And there would be no stop it, okay? Because Dak gave y'all every opportunity to have that game, okay? Dak gave y'all the national media every opportunity to roast him with his awful interceptions. And then he dove on the fumble like a boss, kept it alive, and then Tolbert got hurt, came back in. Shout out to the Steelers who called a timeout after we did, giving Tolbert another extra minute to get healthy and come out and run past that defense to score that touchdown, baby. Monday night, I did miss the Monday night too. The Chiefs beat up on the Saints, but
yeah, I will say biggest result. If we're going to the early games, that Ravens Bengals game was absolutely fantastic, as well as that Thursday night game. Really good games. Really good games. But the one I want to talk about, wow, San Francisco. I get it. You have McCaffrey out, but you got everybody else back. So what's going to happen, because you obviously see that the 49ers, they can get to the Super Bowl. They got there last year. They can do it again if they stay healthy, but what are they going to do if McCaffrey, is out potentially later on down the season? Because this team, when they stop the passing game, when you can kind of sit back and cover and play well, kind of like the Cardinals did, their running game is non-existent. They don't have a guy back there that can do the things that McCaffrey do, or even half of it. And so this is absolutely kind of crazy. So I'm going to be really noticing the 49ers later on down the season to see if anything changes.
Number one, I think the 49ers are running into what a lot of good teams deal with, where they play so many games. When you make these long conference championship and Super Bowl runs year after year, you play more games than everybody. You're playing into longer months. Your off season is shortened, and I think that wear and tear is coming. I also read something, and I'm not trying to speculate, but I'm gonna say what I read, that at some point McCaffrey is going to give it a go. The problem is the blood spinning that he went and got done in Germany, because that's what he went and got done in Germany. It's legal there. It's not legal here. A lot of athletes go and get it. There's nothing illegal about it. It didn't take well, which is why he's not back. And there are rumors that we might see an Andrew Luck where we see a guy walk away early because double Achilles tendonitis, which is what Christian McCaffrey has, is no joke, does not go away easily, and is a long-term thing to deal with. So just throwing that out there on the 49er side. And I will say this, because I won't not address my colleagues' comments. My alarm set. Sorry, don't care. Don't believe in the Giants. Won't believe in the Giants. No, Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. Okay, if I've got to listen to all the hate about Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott, no one is about to sell me on Daniel Jones being an NFL quarterback. But that's that. So that was last week. Let's get. Oh no. Wait a minute.
No. Next week is fine. Next week is perfect.
Let's talk about your Brownies. Okay.
Okay.
You got beat up by Washington. Your coach
Not
comes out and
surprised.
says "Oh, Jaden Daniels, rookie of the year, lock."
Oh, absolutely.
Will Chubb play this season? I mean, I wouldn't at this
Yeah.
point.
No, I get him out there, see what he's got.
Your coach said he's not changing quarterbacks, which I don't know. I've listened to every pundit that I believe in this week talk about how every other team would have benched Deshaun Watson by now. I'm hearing pundits talk about how your coach doesn't even get to run his offense anymore. It's so limited and just awful. Is it just the quarterback? Does the coach need to go?
So I flipped my opinion once again. Initially, I said Watson not looking great. Then I changed my opinion and said, you know what? Watson had a decent game. Coaching looks bad. Then I actually started to look because I follow some accounts that actually, show breakdowns of receivers moving and, stuff like that. There was 4 separate plays that he pointed out, and I'm sure there was more, where he had a clean pocket or at least enough to get a throw off, had receivers open or a check down or a hot route, and just ran into a defender. And see, that's the thing. You look at you see the O-line, and you're like, yes, it's not great. But we're talking about a dude who had 4 wide receivers open. And because of the yips, lost his confidence, something, does not trust himself to throw the football down the field, and decides to tuck it and run into defenders. And I don't believe that this is majority on Stefanski now, because you watch this and you don't know what else you can do. You're setting him up for success. Obviously, the O-line isn't great, but you're giving him hot routes and quick plays to get him to throw the ball, and he decides to just tuck it and run or just hold on to it too long. And it's not good. I believe if Winston ran this offense, we'd be a whole lot better.
I agree. Excuse me. I agree there. I have 2 trains of thought about Watson, because I believe both things can be true and neither are good. There are times where he looks like a player, and I mean more of this in his demeanor and the way he handles his offseason. If Nick's in the chat, he'll let you know all about his offseason. He looks like a guy who plays a sport that hurts, who got paid a lot of guaranteed money and doesn't have to go take those hits to get hurt. But he also looks like a quarterback who has no confidence in his own abilities. Both of those things can be true, and if both are true, you're screwed. Now, I also agree with this. The team as a whole has not been good, but we sit here and we praise Mahomes. We sit here and praise Dak and give Dak his and shit on him when it's deserved. Same with Baker Mayfield. Same with Josh Allen. I'm sorry. The quarterback play for the Cleveland Browns has been so bad that if you put anyone else in there at this point, Flacco, Winston, Sam Darnold, Ryan Tannehill, if you put someone else in there, the rest of the team's flaws would have been masked by the fact that you were winning those games and that defense wouldn't be on the field as much. Does that take care of the offensive line? No. Does that give Chubb his ACL, MCL, PCL, VCR, all of the L's back? No. Okay? CDL? Okay? No, it doesn't. But you wouldn't be sitting here with this record. I'm sorry. You wouldn't have. Maybe you would have lost the Cowboys game still. Maybe. Okay? But you would have played in with Washington. You would have beat Oakland. There are games that you would have won with better, consistent quarterback play. And you're not going to get that out of Deshaun Watson. How many more games before we all just, okay, this is it? Because here's the one thing that sucks for Cleveland now. The national media now is in on this.
Yeah. So you look at the past
and no, I
2 times Well, you mentioned Dak. I think that was the thing.
Oh.
So you look back at the past 2 quarterbacks, right? Baker Mayfield, maybe not fantastic, the best top 5 quarterback. He led your team. He led it with confidence and brought this team that honestly at the time had a bottom 10, bottom 5 defense to a playoff win and almost a Super Bowl berth, if not for the Chiefs.
And then he played with a banged up shoulder and you got rid of him.
And then Watson comes in, he's hurt, yada yada. Then we have Joe Flacco, who, a veteran quarterback with leadership, elevates this team, gets David Njoku to have his best season as a Brown because they actually throw him the ball.
Allowed your coach to actually run his offense.
And we make the playoffs. This is how quarterbacks affect games. They give people confidence. They allow people to do their jobs. And you can't change what Watson is right now. You can't change how he is. And so you bring in a quarterback with a lot of confidence that's going to sling the ball like Jameis Winston, I guarantee you this team is going to play a whole lot better. And I think you're absolutely right. I think Stefanski, he runs his system. He is not going to play anything else because that's just how he is. He's an analytics guy in terms of decisions, but not in terms of play calling.
And the other thing that I get it, there's some issues with Jameis, and the people can be scared of Jameis. But dude, come on. We know that boy can sling the rock.
Yeah.
And what is your quarterback not doing?
Slinging he got LASIK now. He's not gonna throw to the other team. We're all good.
He gonna eat that dub, bro. Gonna eat that dub, okay? Listen, put Watson in there. Or Winston. Exactly. Winston. All right. Let's talk this week's NFL. Tonight, San Francisco at Seattle. I don't even know.
Not watching the game, honestly.
Low scoring and unders, okay?
Jackson Smith and Jigba, please.
Exactly. And then we kick off Sunday. We've got Jags at Bears. Houston, at Drake May and the New England Patriots. What a way to make your NFL debut. Washington at Baltimore. That should be a very good game as we see what Washington's made up. Baltimore. The Cardinals, after their upset, go and take on Green Bay at Lambeau. Tampa Bay at the Saints in an NFC South divisional matchup. We've got Colts at Titans. Loser leaves town match.
I was going to say Spencer Rattler's first start for the Saints.
Hey, that draft pick's finally going to pay off in fantasy, huh? It was like a 17-round pick. Leave me alone. And then we've buddy. The Browns at the Eagles on a week off. That's just wonderful.
My Sunday is going to be so fantastic as I don't watch that game and I go do other things and protect my mental health.
Pumpkin patch on the way for Sunday for Drew. We've got Chargers at Broncos. Steelers looking to rebound after their very, very disappointing
old school rivalry.
Absolutely old school running. But the Steelers, coming off of their very disappointing loss last week to the Cowboys, hope to rebound against the Raiders. Yeah, I'm just digging, okay? Because if I had a loss, I'd be hearing just the hell of it. Speaking of losses, the Lions come into Dallas. I am very scared about that. We've got Falcons and Panthers.
That's a game.
Bengal, yeah, that is a game. Sorry, Racecom. I do not know if the Eagles are getting the receivers back. I don't think it matters. I'm pretty sure.
Devontae Smith, yes. I don't know about anybody else.
Dude, they could throw to the punter right now. Bengals at Giants. And it's in a game of who do we actually believe is any good. Monday night, Bills at Jets. Your 4 teams on a bye this week. Kansas City, the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Vikings. That Monday night game.
Yeah. Honestly, listen, new head coach teams.
New head coach Rub, yep.
I could see it. I could see Rodgers throwing for a lot of touchdowns, and I could see the Bills getting upset here, but I could also see I think honestly that's what I think I think Rodgers is gonna have a great game. I think the defensive coordinator, who's now head coach, I can't remember his name, is just gonna go whatever you want to call, Aaron. Whatever you want to call.
Whatever you want, Raj. Whatever you want, Aaron. You're good with it.
And I think it's going to be absolutely they're going to throw all over Buffalo.
And if not, Buffalo will throw 3 times from their end zone, punch you the ball, and let you kick a game-winning field goal. So no worries there, Bills. Jets, and then Jets win and they're in first place, which is, man. Remember when that division had like good teams in it?
No, it was just the Patriots.
It was just the Patriots. I mean, literally, like the Tua Dolphins. Like I'm talking like 6 months ago, this team had good.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, it's really been it's been the Patriots for so long, and then it was the Bills for like 2 years and nobody else, and then now it's maybe the Jets.
You're a jerk. Ride with me here. But yeah. All right. So that'll do it for your NFL Week 6, bro. Let's talk some college football.
Yes.
We had a big week. Upset Central.
God.
All over the place. I don't even know where to begin. So let's start on Friday. Oregon took care of Michigan State 31-10. Syracuse kicked off upset weekend. I told you about it. I told you the luck might run out on UNLV, and it did. Syracuse 44-41 over UNLV. They did not cover my spread, but that is okay. They still got that dub sauce. That Syracuse team is dangerous. UNLV is running on fumes because they don't have any players left. But then Saturday happened. Number 1 Alabama went down. Oh, and play ball. The Guardians have kicked off. We will keep you updated. Not live. We do not want to get kicked off YouTube. Number 1 Alabama 35, Vanderbilt 40. Wow. Former Straub Bro of the week, Diego Pavaya. You are him.
Apologies to underage and mothers listening in the chat. Vanderbilt, anchor the fuck down, baby.
Woo!
God, they played the perfect game. 42 minutes of possession, that's 70%, 0 turnovers, 12 for 18 on third down, only 3 penalties, and the thing you have to do when you play Bama, force them into making mistakes. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. They went punch for Alabama and held on at the end. It was so awesome. And you know what? Watching those goalposts go down Broadway in Tennessee was phenomenal.
Straw Bro of the week to Vanderbilt University for paying their first ever goalpost fine.
Yes.
Let's go. So that's just one. Let's get that one out of the way. Obviously, Texas was idle this week. Ohio State took.
I got the first and last name.
She called you out. Yes, you are. I think it's hilarious when you finally cuss. Ohio State took care of Iowa 35-7. Covered that spread, baby. Then the upsets continued. Number 4, Tennessee, who was rolling, lost 19-14 to Arkansas.
Woo, pig suey.
Just pulling them all out this week.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Arkansas basically just laid out the blueprint to stop Tennessee going forward. You got to be physical, but listen, you sit 2 high safeties, you let them throw short, and they can't do anything about it. This was a fantastic game plan from a team that they knew couldn't go touchdown for touchdown with Tennessee, and it paid off massively.
The all-22 breakdown here on the Strawbro Sports Show. That's what the hell I'm talking about. Get in that 2 high safety, baby, and let it go. Mel Kiper Jr. wants it outlawed. But yeah,
don't get me started on that.
This Arkansas team's been punchy all year. All right, so this is no surprise. The SEC is effing tough, man. Kirby Smart will tell you that. He told you that in the press conference. Speaking of Kirby Smart, what a transition. That was on accident. Number 5, Georgia, 31-13 over Auburn as they rebound. Drew, number 7, Penn State, 27, UCLA, 11.
UCLA almost lost to Hawaii. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, you leave my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors alone, okay? Speaking of upsets that almost happened, number 8, Miami escaped again, 39-38 over Cal. Cal had game day there. They were hyped. I told you 10:30 in Berkeley is no joke.
Cal, you had it. You were up 38-18 early in the fourth quarter. You gave up back-to-back-to-back touchdowns, and in your offense that hadn't punted since the first possession of the second half, punted twice and threw an interception. You absolutely crumbled under pressure, and your run game was nowhere to be found all game, and that took a head when you couldn't run out the clock at the end of the game. However, I will say, Cam Ward, other than Ashton Johnson, is the only Heisman candidate that I'm paying attention to right now because that dude is balling.
They are the only two Heisman Trophy candidates right now.
100%.
So that we'll just get that out of the way now. It's a two-man race right now. You cannot give Miami the ball or an opportunity to score. Period. They're gonna score on you. But yeah, keeping it moving with more upsets. Number 25. Oh, and for the record, and I didn't mention this, but the AP had UNLV and Texas A&M at 25 last week, so there was nothing I can do. But number 25, Texas A&M beat the brakes off of Missouri, 41-10. Drew, this game was over within the first couple minutes of the first quarter.
The fact that the A&M quarterback did not throw or run for a single touchdown and they still scored 41 shows how dominant this A&M team was in the run game. Runners with 5 carries or more ran for 7.2 yards per carry and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. Remember when that Missouri defense was giving up 0 points?
Yeah. And you know what the issue is? Missouri didn't have any turnover problems, then didn't make a huge amount of mistakes. They just got beat on all sides of the football, and that is honestly worse to see that you, at your, not even your best, but with no mistake-free football, got beat that badly.
I mean, we get a different perspective on teams because we literally cover them every week. But we have been talking now, it's week 6, and every week, minus their one off week, we have been talking about how this Missouri team has gotten worse. Okay? The minute they had to play real teams, the minute they went and saw Boston College, they were a totally different team. And I'm not saying Boston College is a great team, but Boston College exposed them. And from that point forward, everybody else has been picking them clean and getting close to it. So, more upsets. Number 10, Michigan. Upset. Washington 27, Michigan 17. Reveling at Straub.
I know we've been highlighting the teams that are doing the upsetting, but this is a game that truly shows how weak this Michigan team is when they don't have a reason to get up for a game. Washington just dominated them defensively and offensively through the air. Good for Washington. I will give them full props. But wow, this Michigan team will not finish in the top 25 if they continue to play like this, because unless they're at home against a big opponent that they're kind of close with, they are awful.
They are. And I will say this, because I tried to judge Michigan fairly and take my bias out because I know I have a bias with them. But they can't. If they're up for a game, they would have destroyed Washington. Okay? Yeah. And I do just want to give you an update. Top first, Guardians have runners on the corners, 1 out, Jose Ramirez at the plate. When they don't get up, it's over, man.
Oh, you were way behind.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is flat. I threw it on the phone. I apologize. It's flat out over. Josh Naylor's up. I apologize. And that's it. They're not good. They're better than this Washington team when they want to play that game. Speaking of upsets. Oh, you got more on it? Go ahead.
No. I've said enough about Michigan.
Okay. Speaking of more upsets, Minnesota 24, USC 17. I'm going to give Minnesota credit, but I'm also going to – this USC team is young and up and down. They're going to have these games. They're going to have weeks like this.
USC, welcome to the Big Ten.
Right.
Everyone –
and cold yet.
Nope. Everyone makes fun of Ohio State or Michigan struggling sometimes against these teams, and now USC knows why. This wasn't a bad game by USC, not like awful. But this team struggles against a defense that pushes back a little bit, and this is exactly what happened. And you see now why the Pac-12, when you were facing your Arizona States and your Arizonas when they weren't that good, doesn't sometimes compare to your Minnesotas or your Northwesterns. So
since I'm behind, do you want me to do the updates?
yes.
Okay, Guardians just took a 1-0 lead on a Brian Rocchio, or who is that? Rocchio?
No, that was Jimenez, I think.
Jimenez. On a Jimenez
No,
single.
sorry. No, Lane Thomas.
There we go. My bad. Lane Thomas, Quan scored, Guardians up 1-0. Apologize for that. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Ole Miss got on the roll again, took care of South Carolina 27-3, disrespecting our Gamecocks. Clemson 29-13 over Florida State. Florida State. Iowa State 43-21 over Baylor, upset avoided. I mean, we already had our Ashton Genty alert, but damn, Boise State 62-30 over Utah State. SMU upset number 22 Louisville 34-27. Me and Drew a little happy about that. Not for my Irish schedule, but
I just mean show out for the American, baby.
Oh yeah,
that's the old American teams. Let's go.
And then lastly, Indiana 41-24 over Northwestern. Shout out to Indiana, 5-0. Excuse me, for the first time in a long time. And shout out to their coach, who, when he was hired in the offseason, said, "I win. Google me."
That's hard. That goes so hard.
Yeah. I win. Google me. I wish you would have ended with a too short, with Too Short's favorite word, because that's how you end that. All right, now let's roll to this week. We had some movement at the top. Our movement in our top 25, I should say. Most importantly, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State all move into your top 4. All remain undefeated. Texas A&M, our biggest riser, up 10 spots after their win over Missouri. They move into 15th. Missouri, Clemson, Iowa State, Indiana, all moving up 5 this week. Our biggest drops of the week: Alabama dropped 6 after their loss. Missouri dropped 12 spots after theirs. And your biggest loser of the week, Michigan, who dropped 14 spots in the AP top 25, all the way down to number 24 in their loss to Washington, their only 2-loss team remaining in the top 25. We have got big games to talk about and big games to get through this week. So let's get rolling. First things first, the Red River rivalry. Number 1 Texas at number 18 Oklahoma. Don't make me say it again, because I will fumble through it. Oklahoma season is on the line, while Texas needs a win to continue a hot run of tough games in the middle of a tough schedule. But let's be real, the storyline of this game: Quinn Ewers, healthy and expected to start for Texas, putting talented young freshman Arch Manning back to the bench. So, Drew, here's the most important question. Is it the first interception, the first 3 and out, or is it the first damn incompletion when Longhorn fans start to rebel?
First 3 and out. First 3 and out, they're going to be calling for Arch Manning. But if I'm being honest, Quinn Ewers starting at 100%, 90%, 50%, I think, in all honesty, is better. You have an experienced quarterback. He's played this before. He's done this before. You're reducing so much risk in this. Obviously, if Texas has 0 points at halftime, you reconsider the option. But going in, he's 100% healthy from that oblique strain. We're going to see what he looks like. The worst thing you want is not a freshman, but a guy who's just starting, coming into this massive rivalry when he's kind of shown he's a little shaky from time to time, especially in the beginning of games. And listen, I know Oklahoma has looked shaky, but rivalries like these supersedes momentum every day of the week. And so getting a guy in like Ewers to just steady the offense, play their game, that's the right decision here.
On paper, okay, Texas is the better team all around. But we don't play rivalry games on paper. That was the corniest thing I ever did. But
that was the most. Wow.
I love
that. Was like 2016 me levels of corny. Good Lord.
Shout out to the Notebook for being within hand's reach. that's all Oklahoma has. They have
Yeah.
got to get up for a rivalry game. We talk about this stuff week in and week out, and it happens when these teams upset the bigger teams. Punt return for a touchdown, a pick six, a fumble, a going for it on a fourth down, a fake punt, a fake field goal. The Sooners need something to get that momentum to try to upset Texas. And yes, I went there with the crumbled piece of paper. Our next big game, number 4 Penn State at USC. Another big test for the Nittany Lions, Drew, because USC is going to be able to move the ball and test the defense. Can Penn State take advantage of a mistake-ridden young USC team that will blow leads and will blow games away, but also has chances, like in that Michigan game, like in some other games, to storm through and put up some points and scare you?
Listen, I don't think any pressure is on USC here. They know what they are now with their losses. They're at home, and they're bringing in a top 5 opponent. And they are known now for struggling against good defenses. Penn State, don't blow it. You have the offense to beat their defense. You have the defense to suffocate their offense. The only thing they have going for them is home field advantage. If you don't piss down your leg, you're going to win this game. Don't blow it.
I agree. Nothing's going to impress you until Penn State goes undefeated and gets to the
if they beat Ohio State, I will be impressed. That is when I will be impressed.
Okay.
They don't play Oregon this year, so that's all they have.
I got you. Sorry, I was watching the Tigers hit a double. No, I agree. We'll see what Penn State can finally do this week to try and impress Drew. We'll check back in next week on that. Arizona. Arizona at number 14 BYU. Can BYU stay hot and stave off another Arizona Wildcat upset? Arizona starting to put together some results like they started to last year. Can BYU stifle this offense and make some explosive plays? We'll touch on this one quickly.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. I think that both teams are hot at the right time, and I think both teams are going to be putting out a lot of offense. So if you want to watch a lot of offense, I would throw that one on for the mid-afternoon game.
Absolutely. Now let's get to the big one at night. Number 2, Ohio State travels to Eugene to take on number 3, Oregon, the big game in the Big Ten that we have been waiting for. All the other conferences have had some top matchups. It's time for the Big Ten to showcase. The Buckeyes are hot. Oregon has gotten hot after a shaky start. This is exactly the matchup we wanted, baby. Jeremiah Smith versus Tez Johnson is the big-time wide receiver matchup of NFL's prospects. And I am going to say this. I know Tez talked, and he said he's looking forward to the game, and that's usually a strike against a guy when he opens up his mouth. But we have seen plenty of times where the guy who's supposed to be the guy, and Jeremiah Smith is that guy right now, gets outplayed in a big game by a guy who feels a bit disrespected. And that's no disrespect to either of these players because both of them are great. But these wide receivers can't do anything without these two guys because it's going to come down to Dylan Gabriel versus Will Howard for who was going to win this game.
Yeah, listen, this is who's the big dog of the Big Ten. This is obviously Penn State's up there, but like I said, I think they are a 1B definitely at this point until they can prove they beat Ohio State. And Oregon doesn't play them. So this is your biggest matchup, Oregon. This is, if you beat Ohio State, you are 80% of the way there to making it to the college football playoff.
I 100% agree. I will say this. The test for Oregon is going to be this Buckeye defense. Can you move the ball against this Buckeye defense? Because if you can't, I'm not sure you're going to be you might be in big trouble at home because we know this Ohio State offense can move. So I
will say I agree. I will also say it's very similar to how we talked about the Louisville and Notre Dame game. But in terms of the Notre Dame defense is going to stop them for a while. The Ohio State offense doesn't get going for at least a quarter or two.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon needs
How many points does
gather
Oregon have by that time? Exactly.
To hold on because Ohio State's going to finally get it going. So we'll see what happens there. Halftime will be a good judge on how this game's going to go in the second half.
All right, our other big SEC matchup season. Number 9, Ole Miss travel to Baton Rouge to take on number 13, LSU. A huge matchup for play in the SEC title because both of these teams are still in play. Ole Miss took care of South Carolina last week. LSU had a week off to prep for this home game. I mean, it's cliche at this point, bro, because I feel like we do this every week. But which team is going to show up? LSU, for all the hate that I give that's strictly Brian Kelly related, have played
100%.
well minus one game. I give less slack for the South Carolina game being a close game because I think it's a good win. I'm high on this South Carolina team. The loss to USC is going to go up and down as USC goes up and down. Ole Miss coming off a nice win over said South Carolina, so we have a reference point kind of for both teams. We have Ole Miss seeming to be back. LSU is back. We should have a nice high-scoring game here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I also think it's going to be a really close game.
Mm-hmm.
However, and this is, like you referenced, strictly Brian Kelly hate, I don't trust him in close one-possession game moments. And so I have Ole Miss taking this one just because I don't believe Brian Kelly can do anything if the game is close. And so Ole Miss, I think Lane Kiffin is going to take this momentum. I think he's going to play well. And I think LSU it's not going to be enough.
The better point is both of these coaches have been accused of crumbling in the big moment. One of them has to come through, or whoever crumbles the slowest will win this game. Iowa's number 11, Iowa State travels to Morgantown to take on West Virginia. Morgantown is time to show out at night, baby, under the lights, and a chance to take out a top 15 team. Iowa State is rolling right now, undefeated. They beat Iowa. They avoided Baylor. The reason this game is in this preview is because every year the Cyclones get tripped up by somebody in the Big 12. Is it West Virginia this week?
It might be. I mean, we know that Morgantown is, in certain years, massive. It's a very hard place to play. Really hasn't been like that this year, which kind of sucks. But they could get up for this game. It's a conference game. We'll see what happens. I'm not banking. I'm not going to be putting any money on it because I really don't know which West Virginia team is going to show up. I'm sure Ken has something on it later, but I do. It's an interesting matchup that I will keep my tabs on because like I said, it could be 21-0 Iowa State by the end of the first quarter, or it could be 7-7 going into the fourth. We don't know.
I understand. And our last one, 10:30 Saturday night in Boulder, Colorado. Number 18, Kansas State takes on Colorado. Let's go. Coach Prime, Shador, Travis Hunter, get up in prime time, take down a ranked team, and get back in the national spotlight. Kansas State, avoid the upset on the road in a very wild place and a hard place to play at night.
Tigers just flew out end of the first, got out without letting it run up. Anyways, I love the hype up. However, Kansas State is known for limiting those big plays. They control the game, and that's what Colorado's built on, is those big plays. And so if we get to like the second quarter, third quarter, and Colorado really hasn't made a dent in that defense, and Kansas State looks like they're controlling the game, that's what they're best at. And I think that's what's going to happen here. So we'll see what happens. I think Colorado has to start fast. They have to start quick and actually get that game started early, because if they don't, Kansas State, when they have control of the game, is nearly unbeatable.
You're absolutely right. But however, I put the prime glasses on, man. Come on. There's no way.
I know.
Colorado all the way. Damn me be wrong. I'll be back here crying next week. So that'll do it for your top 25 matchups presented to you by the Rapids. Spread the wave, because we wrote it today. Speaking of those bets, let's check in on last week. And bro, look at all these green check marks when they show up on the screen.
Maybe sort of, kind of, maybe.
Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely technical. Good Lord.
Man, I'm froze. There's nothing I can do.
All right, let me.
There we go. Look at all those green check marks, bro.
A lot of green.
A lot of green this week. Spread party. We had some hits: Syracuse, Missouri, Bowling Green. Obviously Michigan, Tennessee, USC, Miami. All of your upsets basically, and your very close games. But hey, Michigan State, thank you. Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Ohio State, thank you. Clemson, Texas, Arizona, thank you very much. NFL run-in, Bills, whatever, just forget you. Packers, Vikings and Ravens, thank you very much. And upset Central, obviously, we talked about that Syracuse. I was high on that Syracuse one. All the rest of them were for fun. We're not going to talk about the Guardians. Let's get to this week. We've got some good stuff. Spread party. Clemson, minus 20.5 over Wake Forest, locking in. Iowa, minus 2.5. Washington, plus 2.5. I don't know. That's the Iowa-Washington game. Whichever one you like, I like it, okay? Georgia Tech, minus 4.5 over North Carolina. There's your Red River rivalry odds. I got that out. 14.5 both ways. Notre Dame, 23.5 point favorites over Stanford. I don't know. Western Michigan, minus 9.5 over Akron. I like that a lot. Drew's Penn State Nittany Lions, minus 4.5 versus USC. Tennessee, minus 15.5 versus Florida. Locked in, and I think they get back rolling. Kansas State, minus 3.5 over Colorado. Get rid of that. And Syracuse, minus 3.5 over NC State. I like that one, too. Your NFL run-in. Eagles, Texans, Packers, Steelers, Bengals. Lock it and chalk it. And then upset Central, I went big for you all over the place here. Northwestern, plus 300 over Maryland. Arizona State, plus 198 over Utah. I like that. Sorry, Army. UAB, plus 1,400. Because, I mean, they are an academy. They do have shaky weeks. We also could see Army-Navy game have college football playoff implications, which is just the most amazing thing I've ever read. South Carolina, plus 980 over Bama. Washington, plus 118 over Iowa. North Carolina, if we flip the script, plus 146 Georgia Tech. Wake Forest, plus 800 over Clemson. Obviously, you see Oklahoma and Oregon, your two big games there. Cincinnati, hey, bro, plus 120. Yeah, get you going. USC plus 158, Northern Illinois plus 122 over said Bowling Green. Vanderbilt plus 385 over Kentucky if you think the Commodores can keep the hot streak rolling. And last but never least, Coach Prime in Colorado plus 134, 10:30 at night. That'll do it for Big Bro's Big Bets. All right, we're coming to a halt, bro. Nobody wants to watch us anymore. They want to watch the Guardians. So let's get to the footy.
Absolutely. Let's run real quick. So actually, what's nice for us is that we are hitting an international break. So we just have review for most of the EPL, for all of the EPL and most of the MLS. So we'll get to that soon. Liverpool stay at top with a 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Manchester City back and forth game with Fulham, but they come out victorious. Arsenal with a good win. Chelsea, unfortunately, my Chelsea draw 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. I will say, though, a very underrated and very good defensive Nottingham Forest team. Not saying that because I drew, saying that just in general, been watching them over the season. Bless you 1,000 times to Ken. And finally, Aston Villa 0, Manchester United 0. Ken, a draw. You didn't concede, but you didn't score any. What are the feelings?
Sorry, I was letting the alcohol from the hand sanitizer.
We're dying.
Yeah, I was dying over here. Man, another week, another Manchester United result. The 0-0 result with Aston Villa. I'm not emotional. I'm fighting off sneezes. I'm disappointed because I was hoping to get blown out so they would fire Ten Hag.
That's sad, but I understand it.
That's where I'm at right now. But I mean, yeah, we didn't lose. I mean, Aston Villa is not a joke. If the rest of the results had been different throughout the beginning of the year, I would be way more excited about this, but we need 3 points all the time. We're closer to relegation than we are to even anywhere in Europe. So, yeah, that is disappointing. Some other results, I know you touched on some stuff. Man City hold off Fulham for a 3-2 win. I know you did mention that, or I don't know if you actually did. I'm sorry, I was dying over here. But
I mentioned the top 4.
Okay. Brighton come back from a 2-0 down to beat Spurs 3-2.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, and 3 late goals there for Brighton. And then, yeah, your Chelsea Blues held to a 1-1 draw with 10-man Nottingham Forest. Probably, and not in a harsh way, your worst result of the year. This is Chelsea. Sometimes you have these dips in random form, and randomly any team can beat you. You just hope that you get the hell out of this form way quicker than you did last year.
So, unlike previous years, and also our draw against Bournemouth, I was very disappointed with those results because we were the better team. We are the better team. We just looked absolutely atrocious, and we kept them in the game. I just feel differently. Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool early in the season. They drew against Brighton earlier in the season. They are a fantastic defensive team. And we basically had to try to break them when they were packing back for the last 20 minutes of the game. We had our opportunities. Their goalkeeper stood on his head at least 2 or 3 separate times, as did ours. But this is a result I'm not upset with. Do I think we should have gotten the win? Yes. But am I upset? No. And so that's where I'm at right now.
This is the difference between two brothers talking about two teams who, before their draws, were on completely different forms. When you are riding like you have been, this draw, okay, it was bad, it sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Where mine, even against a better team, still feels awful because just nothing is going well. So obviously nothing to talk about going into next week there. So we will leave the EPL alone and we will switch over to the MLS. On the Eastern Conference side, DC United and Montreal have pulled away from Toronto, Philly, and Atlanta to lock up those last 2 spots.
Yes, and listen, it is getting very, very close.
Almost locked up those last 2 spots. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, they're there. But yeah, you have some very, very close games coming up here soon. We'll talk about it, but there's actually games going on this weekend. Only 2, but it absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, DC United, Montreal really falling down the rankings, but staying in. But DC United coming up with that big win, yes, against New England Revolution. But you got these 2 games this weekend, and you have the final day on October 19th before the playoffs. So a lot could still change, considering when you look at, I don't have it on the screen, but Philadelphia having a +8 goal differential, and Atlanta having a -4, and DC United having a -15, and Montreal having a -18. So if DC United or Montreal lose, and Philly or Atlanta United win, they could jump them just as easily just through that goal differential.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5 teams with a possibility to get into those 2 spots. That's exactly what you want to see on the last day there for the MLS. On the Western Conference side, you already saw the preview of the Jersey, baby. Yeah, my Galaxy taking care of business against Austin FC, locking up that top spot. Screw you, LAFC, for moving up. Vancouver and Portland have all but sewed up that last playoff spot. It's pretty much locked in there on the Western Conference side.
Yep, everything's kind of settled other than just positioning in the playoffs. And so we will see kind of where people end up, where there's still a lot of movement in the bottom. So, honestly, you could see a team like Minnesota, instead of being 7th and facing, Seattle Sounders, they jump up to 5th and play Real Salt Lake. And so, play Colorado. So it's one of those things where you kind of you got to see what happens there. Not a lot to play for, but in terms of getting the better matchup and the better results, it is still important.
Some seeding between 2 and 4 as well, though you could see some movement depending on some results as well. I get the winner of that 8-9 matchup, correct?
Yes. So the 8-9 matchup play, and then you get whoever plays there. So that'll be a fun game.
Absolutely, bring it. Don't care, bring it. I'm ready.
Listen, that Portland team can get up for anything, so I'd be a little nervous there.
Listen, no nerves. I love it. I'm here for it. Get up for it because I want it. Obviously, international break, just the Crew and the New England Revolution going this week, which is so strange. Just take the whole week
off. They have a game to make up.
I got you. None of their players got called up anyways. And then on the Western Conference side, LAFC and Vancouver. Vancouver, do me a favor and just blow out LAFC and, just kick a couple guys extra hard. Just do it for me. But yeah, that'll do it for your MLS, and that will do it for that side of the soccer. But to end every show, everybody already knows what time it is. Andrew, get the people ready. It is time for Americans Abroad.
Yes. We only had 4 goal scorers this week, but they were really crucial. Christian Pulisic continues an absolute hot streak with a fantastic volley and a goal and a 1-2 loss, unfortunately. Also, takes penalties, but didn't take the 2 in this game. I think we'll touch on that at some other point.
David De Gea.
Fuller and Balogun gets a goal in a 2-1 win for Monaco. Paxton Aronson goes back-to-back and gets a goal in a 3-2 win for Utrecht. And Josh Sargent again goes back-to-back in a 4-0 win over Norwich and has been described as one of the best strikers in the championship by a pundit. So really looking
English
out
pundit.
there. Yes.
Sunrises, sunsets, Josh Sargent scores.
We talked about some October friendlies. The roster, unfortunately, had some injuries, as we see here. You can see the replacements down on the bottom. And to wrap it up, if you have nothing going on, 9 p.m. on Saturday, and then 10:30 on Tuesday, U.S. plays Panama in Texas and Mexico in Guadalajara, Mexico.
We're going to talk through the end of the music, and that's okay. I screwed you. You still hit it with my interruptions. Well done, by the way, sir.
Absolutely.
Mauricio Pochettino's debut as United States men's national team coach. Players have already described the training camp as one of the most intense things they have ever done in their life. That makes me so bleeping happy. None of the injuries were training related with the U.S. national team. They all picked up those knocks previous to those games. Just wanted to click that back for you. Weah, Cardoso, Balogun, and obviously Gio Reyna, who's just is permanently on that list, so we don't update it every week.
Well, that was the players that had been called up that had seriously been changed off.
I'm just being a dick. We have Panama. Obviously, we've got Panama and Mexico. 2 big games there, 2 big rivals in CONCACAF. It's going to be hard to find a screen at 9:30 on a Saturday for them, but I will make sure there's one, maybe the iPad. 10:30 at Mexico. We'll be watching that back as I'm sleeping, but absolutely check those out. We will break those down. Maybe we will bring back a special episode of Footy Fridays, not on a Friday, to break down those 2 friendlies, because we are definitely going to want to talk about the national team in heavy depth once we get to see what Mauricio Pochettino does. Great show, bro. Great
Absolutely, you too.
show. That'll do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. You, just like we, want to get to the Guardians game, so we are going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining us here on the 216 Sports Network, whether you're on the Facebook page and you follow us there, or you're on the YouTube page and you like and subscribe, and you are one of our 5,000 strong. What can you find on the 216 Sports Network? You can find all of us. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, coming back as NBA season starts to pick up, the Rulers Minute with Rico McGee dropping weekly for you, Outside Interference, and the Straub Bro Sports Show. Straub Bro Sports Show, you can find us everywhere on Twitter, at Strawbro Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS, Instagram at Strawbro Sports Show, Spotify, Strawbro Sports Show, Instagram blowing up with all of our Rapids content. Make sure you are following us there. Thank you for the great show, Mama. We always appreciate that. And make sure you follow our boys and our friends of the show, Austin, over at Create Your Own Wave. Follow them on Instagram, Create Your Own Wave 2021. CYOWapparel.myshopify.com for all your gear. And remember, don't remember, you already know, Straub Bro Sports Show, your official broadcast team for the Fall's Rapids. Schedule released, times to be but that is coming. Make sure you check out and you follow them as well as you follow us to check out all of my coaches' interviews that have dropped so far, the players' interviews that have gone up so far, and the quarterback series that we dropped this week. Thank you as well, Pops. We appreciate that. Whew. Drew, final shout outs.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, however you listen. I will be stressed for the next at least hour and a half, and then hopefully stressed out on Saturday, because I really need this. Go enjoy the weekend, everybody. Cold one, finally. So go out and go to your pumpkin patches and go do your fall things, but also spend time for some fantastic football.
Absolutely. We'll be hitting one of those pumpkin patches as a family over on this side as well. Real quick, before I do end the show, I want to give a big shout out and all our thoughts with everybody down south, basically. Florida getting smacked again by their second straight hurricane in less than a month. North Carolina, all those places that really haven't recovered yet from all of the damage. You're about to get hit with some more storms. So hopefully everything works out for you guys. If you evacuated, hopefully you get to go home to a house. And if not, either way, our thoughts and prayers with everybody down that way. Stay safe this weekend. Enjoy the sports. Enjoy it and enjoy the Straub Bro Sports Show. For Little Bro, I am Big Bro. We appreciate you joining us. And please remember to love yours.